Art students, welcome back to another lesson. Now this is part 3 on how to draw clothes. Actually, it was supposed to be how to draw tight fitting clothes on your character, something that somebody asked me to do. And unfortunately, it's going to turn into part 4. So the entire thing is done, but in editing, this is still an hour. It's a little bit more than an hour, and I don't want it to go to like an hour and a half. So the last part is the next part, part 4, which finishes the whole thing. So without saying anything else, let's just jump into it because you got an hour and some of video to study. But as I said before, if you are serious about drawing clothes on your character, then this is exactly what you need, because your character can't run around in this super suit all day. He's got to take his clothes off, or she's got to take her clothes off someday and put on a bathrobe or jeans or go to work or whatever. So let's just jump into this and then get going. All right, welcome back to part 2 or part 3 of drawing clothes. It got out of hand. A viewer asked me to draw tight clothes on a character, and it took me a minute to kind of process how to do this. So as I started to get the lesson together, it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is some of the stuff I showed you in the other part. But as I say, it got bigger and longer because I wanted to show you guys example after example after example. So I had to cut it and keep going. So I wanted to finish up. And so this is going to be the third part. I think this is the third part. But yeah, there's a lot of information in this. So yeah, let's get started, because I'll start rambling. I will start rambling. So we last left off with doing the shirt for the suit. Now let me zoom my camera in, because I pulled it out just to show you all of this stuff. So let me zoom in. All right, so that's a little better. Now what I have been dealing with is 3 main things. It's the dress shirt, the hoodie, and regular t-shirt. Because if you're drawing your character, then those are the most 3 things that you're going to draw: a t-shirt, whether it be a short sleeve or long sleeve, a hoodie, or a dress shirt or dress coat or suit coat. Because no telling, what is your character rich, is he poor, is he young, is he high school age, or whatever. So those are the 3 things that I've been dealing with. But as long as you understand what the wrinkles are about, then you will be able to do it right. So let's jump into this. This was the last thing. This was a dress shirt, and this was a t-shirt. Long sleeve on one side, short sleeve on the other side. Now the difference is between doing these 2 is like your dress shirt, your folds and your bunches are going to be sharper than it would be on a t-shirt, because that's cotton, it's more softer, so you won't get as many folds. So I'll try to get back into some of what I did on the other video, just in case you found this one and you didn't see the other ones, because maybe the screen shot looked good and you jumped into this. So I'll try to cover some of what I did. But if you do see this one, go back, because there are other parts. So I was doing this. Let's do the other side, the more relaxed side. All right, so back to the dress shirt. Now, of course, you're going to have your middle line. This is usually when I start doing clothes, I'll do the basic outline of everything first. And then I want to have this more squared off, then follow the shape. So like if this guy had a big muscular arm like this, I won't follow every curve. I'll do more of a flat outline, keeping close to the shape that I want, because you're going to erase this part anyway, but you still want him to look like he's muscular. Now if he had a big arm, yes, I'll do more of a sharper edge. What did they call that in the 80s, with a diffusion type of lines, where everything is more sharper. So I'll do that, and I'll bring it down just off of the side a little bit, and then if I tuck it in, bring it out, that little mountain, or if I just have it like long, and let me tuck this in, because I'll just do the pants just because. So I'll need the belt. Make the belt a little higher. So then I will tuck it in the belt right here, bring it out, so that little mountain. So that's my shirt. The figure's kind of short because this was a quick quick rough drawing. So then I have my V under the neck, which it goes around, which is like this, kind of like a teardrop, upside down teardrop. Do a teardrop, Brian, like that, except you flatten this out and you turn the whole thing upside down. You flatten it out, you turn it upside down. So if I turn it upside down, almost like a speech balloon, you know, like that, except it's going to be in the middle like that. So this is what this is about. It goes around like that. Your collar is going to come down and then back up and then there, like that. But if I put a tie on the guy, I'm going to bring the collar up, and I'll put a tie on him just because. Bring it up more, so when I button it up, when you button it up, it's going to be high in your neck, chokes you. This is why I don't do suits too much. And then your diamond. Diamond. It's not a diamond, it's a triangle. And then back around. Now that's a diamond for your tie. All right, but we're not doing ties. We're doing your wrinkles. And your wrinkles, as I said in the last video, it's going to be like this. It's going to come out like that from your center point, like that explosion or that starburst or that 1 point perspective line. I call it a starburst. I didn't call it an explosion in one video. So it's going to be like here under the arm, so you're going to have something like this. This is how your wrinkles are going to go. Here, here, and here in the crotch as well. Both sides. You're going to have that explosion. And that makes it easier for you to start. So again, the difference between this and this is your bends and folds are going to be more round, whereas this one is going to be more sharper line because of the material that you use. Now you don't want to go too crazy with your tie is going to come down here, so that's going to cover that up. You don't want to go too crazy with your wrinkles because you don't want your character to look like he needs to go and buy an iron. But remembering that the figure is round, you're going to have your wrinkles, your folds or your bends kind of come around as well. So you're going to be like this, and come around like that. Your chest is about right here. This is going to come around here, and your what is that? The stitch from your shoulder is going to come way out there. So if you have a wrinkle, it's going to kind of curve around here and here. As I say, it depends on how many wrinkles you have. You don't want to go too crazy like that and like that. And I'm not going to cover the detail. Just go back to the other video and then you'll understand some of the things that I'm saying that you might not understand right now. This one, I don't want it to be as long as the other one. So we have the shadow for the chest. And then the wrinkle's going to come around here and maybe around there from behind. Curving. You can have a diamond type of mountain type shape right there because if he's got a powerful chest, but always break it up. Break it up. Don't have it going all the way around. Only for the women do we do that. And then because it's hanging down, well, that chest is so prevalent, you can have those U's hanging off of the material. Go back and look at the other one. And then you could have if he's got a powerful chest in that suit or in that shirt, you could have the stretch marks there because it's stretching. So coming down, I'm going to have that sleeve, that whatever that is, it's not a collar. That part of the shirt that's, I don't know what that's called, and tucked out. So it's going to be a bend right here at the elbow. Remember, one line equals another line. And if you want to get like really crazy serious, you want to take some all the way around. And if I take it around like this, it'll come off of the shoulder. It just won't stop. It'll come off of the shoulder and come around. And one wrinkle equals another wrinkle. And then if it's tucked in the shirt, you have these little triangles that show that it's tucked in. Not too many wrinkles again. I've got to get better light because I'm leaning way over here to see this. So we have this. You could have like a wrinkle here or a fold right there. One fold leads to another. And the chest is right there. Shadow. And maybe just a little here, maybe just a little where the stomach sucks in at. Folds in here. And just as long as you keep your lines more sharper on dress clothes, you'll be all right. That way the reader knows, oh, that's not a cotton shirt. It could be silk or rayon or whatever. But as I said, the tie would, if I did a tie on this guy, that would cover all this up. So yeah, and then you have your belt, however you would have your belt. Your loops. And then your bang. So slacks, you want to have really not a lot of loop here. Not a lot of wrinkles at all. My loop right here, right here, right here, right here. So here's my belt. Lose track of that. So you want to have only where it bends a lot. You might have one little piece right here in the crotch. Not a lot, really not a lot. You want to kind of keep it flat or straight. And then usually, and I'll show you when I do the legs because I have a thing for just legs, how it goes. I have it somewhere. Yeah, but we'll get to that anyway. The way the shoes fit on here, but usually if you're doing slacks, you want to you do want to have that crease line. And then you want to keep it pointy like that. Whereas jeans, you'll have it all the way down and you'll have it round where they sit on top of your shoe and wrinkle, but these are slacks. Find your center line, like that. And then if you want, depends on the pants, it can come up more. And then you have your pocket, which I believe your pocket goes like that. So yeah. And maybe a wrinkle crease right there. But you don't want to go crazy like jeans or anything else. Okay, moving on. T-shirt. All right, again, rounder lines. It's your collar. It's not your collar. That's your collar. What is that? Whatever that is. Going down, if you're going to have one side, like say a long sleeve. But since it's going to be tight, we're going to kind of keep the form of the arm, not creasing in too much, but keep the form of the arm. And then just a little off of the side, but keeping that curve and coming down. Same thing. Don't want it skin tight. These are closed. So you just want to kind of keep the form of that arm. This is short sleeve. This one is short sleeve. So if my bicep was like this, curve that arm. Don't have it flat. Don't have it just flat like that. Unless your perspective is up. Curve that arm. Show that arm is round. Okay, so again, your chest is here, but you won't see it. You have your abs here, but you won't see that. But with the, again, and you can do that with all of them. Just do that kind of line, and you'll be able to follow your, follow the directions that your wrinkles, I'm just gonna keep saying wrinkles, but it's folds and bends go onto. So t-shirt, you have your seam, but I really don't do that too much on t-shirt seams. You can if you want to be detailed, but just remember the body's round. You have some pulls here across the chest, definitely under the bottom, depending on how thick the material is, under here as well. Now you can have the shadow of the your abs, a little bit of shadow. Don't try to draw all 4 abs, just give a little bit of indication by the shadow of where the ab could be at. Because they'll suck in so much that they'll leave a shadow. Just like this comes out so much, it'll leave a shadow. Don't go all the way across. Like that. So this is a long sleeve. Depending on the amount of wrinkle you want, you can just do like this at first by hand to see, oh, that's too much, or that's enough, or that's not enough. And then you come back and then you add your inner wrinkle to it. As I said, one line equals another line. So if this is a pull or bunch, you have that and you have this one. If you have 2 bunches, you have this and you have that one, which causes shadow in the middle. If it's a curve, you have that and you still have that shadow. One curve pushes against another curve, which creates another curve or however line. So it's kind of like a maze. One creates the other, which creates the other, which creates the other. So you don't want to go too crazy. Again, because this is round, this chest, so you have curve here, line there, line there. Now, if it's tight on his arm, it's going to be that pull. You're going to have that pull line. Because anytime it's tight on something, you have your material, it's tight. Get it together. It's going to pull in the direction that it's tight on. So if this was an arm or your ribs or your whatever, and it pulls around there, it's going to be tight on there. Going, so the tighter your shirt, the more it's going to pull. Let's just pull this. I don't want to tear this thing. You'll see some of these pull lines going around. It's going to go around, even at the bottom. It's going to curve out. Just like I said, this. That's just the way wrinkles go. There's going to be one point here where most of the pulling is coming from. So that is going to make these pulls come out in all different directions, or that starburst type of direction. So the highest point, or the highest point like here will determine like where the pulls go. So the highest point is going to be right here at your lats. So it's going to come out like that. And then coming around. And as I say, one leads to another. One line leads to another line. So let me eat that so I can show myself what I'm talking about. Coming down. And there's going to be some wrinkles here because that is where you move your arm, or where your arm bends. Coming out here. Another one. So these are 2 pulls coming together. These are 2 coming together like this. So you have that one, and then you have that other coming down, long sleeve, because I bent this in. There's going to be a bend like that. This could be round. That. 2 lines. You have to have your center line. That. And as I say, it depends on your material. You don't want to go too crazy. And that's your shadow from here, from your chest. You can have a couple lines here coming down. Let go of this so you can use 2 hands. Yeah, thank you. Comes in. And you don't have to follow my folds and wrinkles. You can do your own. That's why I said it's best just to, when you do it, just do this, do your line, do this. And then you can say, okay, it's too many wrinkles. I don't want this. This is a thin wrinkle. This is a wide wrinkle right here, or a wide fold. Like around here, you don't need that many. Depends on the type of material again. So I'm going to just put some short ones here. So it won't be as wrinkled as there. And it's you bend your waist, so you're going to have few wrinkles right here. Bends, folds. Stop it, Brian. A little shadow. So if I put this, it's going to go through the shadow. The shadow's going to stop. Go under it like a bridge, and then you come down some more, and then you can have a little bit of shadow wherever. That's on you. You choose. So again, you're going to be curving right here. You're going to curve here, curve around here. Maybe here, and this is the bottom of your shirt. Like that, and of course, as I said, one line leads to another. So basically, you're kind of like doing outline over the line. And of course, if you do that, your arm has to fit into that shirt. Your arm has to basically tuck right into that shirt. You can't have your shirt like this and your arm like that, and then have pull lines in your shirt, because your arm is not really pulling because it's too small. So you have to have that arm nice and fat to fit in that shirt to give it these pull lines. And I'm doing this fast because the other video was just crazy long. And then of course, I say if you want to do like the chest lines coming out like that, and maybe just some little shadow in here in the middle. Jeans, same thing with these. You have this here, that starburst. So jeans are this is thicker material, and I'll get into this when I find my legs thing. Your jeans are usually over top of your shoes. So when you're pushing up, and when you're bunching up the material, you have it, and it's going to bunch up. It's going to bunch up on top of each other like that, causing your S's and your U's and your V's. Don't want to do too much of it, but it's bunched up. It's pushed up, which pushes that one up, which pushes that one up, and usually on the side you'll have some loops here, which cause other wrinkles, but you don't want to have too much. Same thing over here. You have this is bunched up, which causes this to bunch up, which probably causes that to bunch up. Those are just wrinkles in your knees and your jeans. Jeans are different materials. And as I said before, usually I've done so many, it's just second nature, and I'll just do it real quick. So as I say, with slacks or something nice, pants, you want that diamond or that point, and then you want your crease line. Here, of course, should have been a little lower. Like that. And then you can do that. And then start adding your shadow. Pockets, which would be up in here somewhere. Okay, next. All right, so let's do these, and I'm saving the women for last because women are not as really hard as you think it is, but I'm going to save that for last so they don't monetize a brother. Okay, so when you get into perspective, foreshortening, that gets a little bit harder depending on the material you use. All right, let's get the dress shirt out the way. Arms extended, and it'd be the same thing as arms up, but a little different. All right, so you know, again, straight down, my collar, which is the V. And do I want to put, let's just put the tie on them, because a lot of times if you dress somebody, you're putting a tie on them. If you dress your character, you're putting a tie on him. So let's just button the shirt up. Now, the way it's sewn, when you lift your arms up, it's going to come up like that. And this pull is not going to affect past this line because it's two different materials. So again, I don't want to have these curves. My material is going to be above the curve. It's going to be more squared out because it's dress shirt. Then I'll always get my shape first. And then I'll just open this one up just because then I'll come back and figure out my wrinkles. These are given, the sleeves are given right here. You have that and that. Okay, so now it's going to, because you're pulling, you're lifting your arm up. So you're going to pull, it's going to pull in that direction. So you're going to have some pull lines in this direction. It depends on how many you want to do. Now the further away you get from that point, that center point of the pull, the less of a sharper pull you'll get. So this is the point where it pulls from. It's going to be here, 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 and then maybe, because as I said, one line leads to another, this one won't be so sharp. It might be a U versus the point. Like that. So, and then because you have your chest, it's going to come out, but you're not going to get too much when you pull this way. You're not going to get a lot of wrinkles this way, a lot of bends coming because you're spreading something out. So if I'm taking this and I'm pulling this out in this direction, I won't get so much in the center. It'll all be over here on the end. So if this, my hand is here, and I'm pulling in this direction, I'll get all my bends here instead of in here. So this is not going to be much. I mean, you might get a few small ones that come up, but other than that, you won't get it. So you'll get a couple wrinkles here because you're bending your arm up, which means it's kind of pushing together your stitch. Maybe a few here because that's where you bend. And then because your chest is pronounced, maybe that's it. And that's probably it. Maybe a little something here, or just because, but not much. Most of your action is going to go up in here. As I say, and if it's a hard pull, then I'll take it actually off of the line, which is the arm. And the further away you get, the less it's going to show pull-wise. So again, from the main point, you get that hard pull. The further away you get, the less pull you have. And that's kind of like really overdoing it. And if it's a really strong pull, then it will come through that line. But other than that, it won't really affect that line too much. it won't affect past the seam too much, not affect that line too much. I'm gonna tie that a little bit more, bruh. Yeah, unless this was tucked in, it wouldn't really affect too much down here. But like I said, because this is always tucked in and crinkled, you'd have a few wrinkles down there. All right, now this is the hard part. It depends on the material that you're wearing. Again, with the dress shirt. Maybe he went out to a party or to dinner or something, and something broke in, and he had to, use his force blast to, shoot the creature or whatever. So his hands had to come up. So again, we're going with the basics, but we already know. He's got a collar, got a tie. And I'll move the tie because, a little dramatics. Now, with these wrinkles, when you bring them to the front, they're going to end up being, like I said, that's really hard to say. Here's my forearm. You have wrinkles that come around, okay? Everything's coming around. Now, when it comes up here, because it's a dress shirt, it's going to be more diamond or sharper wrinkles, which will give you the inner part. And so for a t-shirt, it's going to be round, but for a dress shirt, it's going to be more sharper, like that. So the more that you bring it to the front, the more of this little diamond part you'll see, and then another one will be behind it, and another one will be behind it. That's kind of like the best description I can give you. But you just have to know where it is. Now, the best thing to do for something like this is just go put on a dress shirt and then take a picture of yourself. And I would recommend that with anything that you have trouble with. If you can get a reference photo, it's best to use a reference photo. Because when I started out, I had started cutting out pictures from magazines. Just anything that I think that I would use, not today, but tomorrow, like wrecked cars and buildings on fire and just, trees, any little thing, and I put it in a folder so whenever I needed it, I would have it. So this is the best thing to do. Okay, so the shirt, of course, you notice the collar is going to raise up. It's going to be bunched up here. And just do your basic line. It's not going to fit my shoulder. It's going to be up higher. It's going to fit here, bunch up here. It's definitely going to bunch up here, and then your sleeve. It's going to be there. So I'll put my sleeve right here below the fist, maybe. Depends on how tight it is. You might not see it. Depends on the angle of the hand. So keeping it more diamond shaped. It's going to come down, up, down, and around, up and around. So I'm going to have my wrinkles following this thing. So we have this one, and I say it's kind of hard to do. But with this, I would have everything coming off the arm. And you're going to have a lot of light and shadow because you're going to have a lot of dips there as well. And one leads to another, so it's very hard to do. So I'm just trying to figure out how I'm doing this with the pencil before I ink it. But get reference. Let's try that. So starting out here. One leads to another. My shoulder is coming around. So if I have one here, and it's going to go around the arm, but it's going to be more of a harder line. Get reference as best you can. collar, the sleeve, because you're taking all this and you're bunching it all up into one thing. And if you don't really have a reference, it's hard to see it. Especially if you haven't done it before. That's kind of weird looking because I have too many at the bottom. This is where you would use a lot of shadow to cover up a lot of stuff, but let's try it on this one. Let's do it on this one. But knowing that it has to be more of a point. So here is going to be a wrinkle because this is where the arm is, right here. This is going to be one piece because this tucks behind this. My collar or whatever that little piece is right here. Hey. So I'm going to put one here, maybe here, not too many. Alexa just came on for some reason and it's still on. So let me unplug it because I think the government is hacking into my stuff. Remember, one wrinkle leads to another wrinkle. And just remember your shapes, your X's, your S's. But you wouldn't really have too many S's on this one. So my sleeve would be here and here. So I'll put one right there, comes down. This comes up, turn that into that Y maybe. And then this come around and then actually down. A lot of shadow hiding your mistakes. So we come here, come there. This is shadow under here because this is coming down. There's no real pulls, but just because it's a dress shirt. That, your shadow for your chest. Keep it sharp. And what did I do with that tie? Brush. For a shirt, keep it tight. And maybe a couple pulls across. Just because he's kind of somewhat twisting when he brought his arms up. Wrinkles here, and then this, if you choose to have one showing the chest, concaving in, something like that. And if the shirt is tucked in, of course, you have the thing, and then this belt loops, the pants. The wrinkles because it's bunching here because you're bending your waist. That. Again with the starburst, One leads to another. And then that's about it for that. And of course, you want to always have your little center line, and that right away tells you, oh, those are dress slacks. And maybe a pocket, but usually I don't tend to draw pockets. So yeah, a lot of shadow, cover up your mess. And then, I mean, if depending on your lighting, all this would be in shadow as well, which would make the bottom of your wrinkles in shadow also. Yeah. Now I'm drawing a comic book page. I'm just trying to show you guys how to do wrinkles. All right, let's get away from the dress shirt for a minute. Shadow. Yeah. It'll be tight around his neck. All right, t-shirt, same thing. T-shirt, except which way is the arms going to go, in or out? I don't know. At this point, I don't know, in or out, whichever. I'm just going to make it in, like that inner circle instead of an outer kind of a curve, is what I'm saying. Same thing here. You know where your seam goes, and then again, same thing. If your arms are really tight, it's going to have that pull, but it's also going to pull curving around. Curving around and kind of joining that. This one, you'd have more t-shirt, but I do like cross over the top and the bottom sometimes. And then you would have that pull here. This could be a shadow because with a t-shirt, it's going to be tight and pronounced, but not too much of your abs. T-shirt coming through because it's tight. And the bottom of your t-shirt, your bunch lines here, this, and maybe just pull lines in the chest like that because your character is big. So we have this, couple wrinkle lines there because the arm goes up. Wrinkle lines over here. The bunch is coming off of the shoulder. Maybe right here too, because it's really close to the wrinkle point. And then a couple pulls for the arm. I know that's a very small drawing. Shadow for the chest. Comes up. Out. And then it's going to start curving here. The further you go down, the more it's going to curve, put it that way. And then I'm going fast. I'm going a little faster. So I don't connect these two lines a lot of times. I have one above the other, and then you can have your stretch across, and then maybe some shadow not going through the stretch. If this was the stretch here, your shadow stops, goes under like a bridge, and then under like that. That way you know the fabric is coming across. Again, here, some bunches there. This is a strong part, so I'd have that come off of the form, just like this one, which went a little too high, and then like that. And then you can add your shadow. As I said, this one will come all the way across, and your shadow would be beneath this. Just a little shadow to show that this guy's got some ab. Like that. All right, so this one again, well, this would be easier because you only have that right there. And then say if it's tight or if it's a lot pulling, you have the lines that come here. Everything else is pretty much going to follow the form. The point from pulling is going to come back here, so like that, back behind the arm. And if you want to bring it all the way down past the rib cage, like that, and it's going to be pulling here on his stomach or his waist. And then maybe right here you have the drop. And the drop is, in the last video, if you take something, a pen or something, and you have something coming down from it, you'll see these lines, just like a tablecloth, tablecloth or a curtain. You'll see these pulling lines. So if a person's chest was like this, like that, and you have your shirt coming down off his chest, you would have these pull lines here because it's just kind of hanging down. So then you would erase the part that's underneath. You wouldn't have the whole, you would not have the whole chest line. You just have these pull lines here, and then it shows, and have some chest line, and then that shows that it's like being draped, just like a table. If I have a table, edge of a table, make that table round like that, and then you have your tablecloth. It's going to come off like this. It's going to show where the edge of that line is. Like that. So the line would be here, 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 here. And then you would have another one here. So you don't want to have that line going through that. Same thing with the chest. You have the chest comes down like that. And it's draping. So you have that line here, 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 and here. So maybe like this, because when you bring your arms together, your chest is going to flex like that. So you can have some shadow. Definitely here, because that part sucks in. So let's ink this and see what we have. Not with the brush. And wrinkles are up to you. I mean, you can put as many or as least or none, but when you do clothes, you're going to have to. And of course, this is going to bunch up because this is tucked in or it's pushing together. This is right there. This is going to be tight. You can have a couple here because it's pulling so much. And then you have the arm, the shirt here, the shadow for the chest. If you want to make it pull from under the arm, you can. From behind the arm, it can come out from that shadow. You can have that shadow from the arm. It can come out. Can you see this? I'm out to the side. Like that. And then, as I said, if you want the shadow from your abs, it's going to be under the pulls like a bridge. That, and maybe just a little shadow for the center piece. And you can have that. Same thing here. Shadow from this. The chest. And then shadow from there, and then a little bit of shadow from that collarbone. And definitely here. And of course, I'm going fast again. Could be a shadow, all that could be under shadow. Same thing here, make that a little bigger. And then folds there. Of course, the further away you get from the main point, the more rounder your folds will become. Like that, and then you can have some there. If you must have an ab, just a little bit of shadow. Like so. All right, so that covers that t-shirt part. All right, let's cover the hoodie real quick, and then get on to the women, and we'll end this because I think there's nothing else I can show you. Wrinkles and pulls and folds. Yeah, I don't think there's any more. You have the basic down, so other than this, I'm just drawing. So the hoodie, of course, again, the hoodie material, it depends on if the hoodie's up or down. We'll put the hoodie on them, around them. And that determines how much of the face you want to cover, how big the hoodie is. This is a photocopy. You could put the hoodie way down here. You want the guy to be mysterious looking. Over the head, don't put it on the head, over the head. And it's going to be soft material that's going to come around and be close in on the side. It's going to come down. I mean, you can have it as wide as you want, but the material is pretty much soft and then close on the side. You can see inside of it, or you can just have it all black. Depends on you. Or you can have this black and it fades out to a lighter color because you have the light, and then you have the point here. Now, as I say, it depends on what. And when it curves in like this, when it sucks in, you have your little wrinkle here. Depends on how much material you have. You can have wrinkles all over. It depends on the material that you have. So, as I say, and then under here, you can have your shadow and just your nose, which is in shadow, and then your mouth. So, let's just ink that because I can ink that if I can see what I do with my pen. And there's your face. There's your neck. Here's the shadow from the hoodie, the nose, but you have shadow from there, the mouth, and you have shadow because it's all in shadow. And as I said, you could either, this would be dark. It's going to be from black to light, or just all black. Depends on what you want to do. That you can cross hatch it to make it darker. And you have that, and you have your strings. So now that your arm is up again, it's going to bunch. Remember, the hood is not going to sit flat. You have a lot of material in here. So it's going to bunch here, and then it's going to basically bunch everywhere it can because there's a lot of material. Unless you're doing the big brute that is going to be just so tight on it, it will look kind of strange. So even under the arm, you would have a lot of material hanging. And this is that stretchy material like that. So I'll just do my outline as I say, and then bring it down. I can bring it in like this, stop it and bring it in, and that way it gives them that kind of a shape too, that kind of that V-taper shape. And then this. Now, one arm is shorter than the other because I'm seeing that now. Your seam for your hoodie, I would draw the seam, and it's crooked. Yes, it is crooked. And as I say, because your point, your wrinkle point, which is like right here, it won't affect anything over here because it's two different pieces of material. The further you get away from the point, the less sharper it would be. And because this is so small, I wouldn't really do a lot of detail into it. And then maybe just a piece here and a piece there, and then you have your pocket. however your pocket is shaped. So inking this thing. And this one would be more of the U's instead of the triangle. So it would be more U shape instead of this, because it's not really pushing against, because it's loose. This one comes off. This one comes off. Stretch material. And yeah, you really wouldn't see, because it's so loose, you wouldn't see much of the chest. You probably wouldn't see any of the chest unless it's just really broad, because it's the chest is way up under here and you have all this extra material. So I wouldn't worry about that. Just bunch it up where you can. Take it off of the sleeve or off of the arm. Keep that one on because it's so far away. And then coming down. And you can either do W's or you can just do a straight, just each line, one line, or just do W's. Depends on, depends on how close it is that you're drawing it, or the time you have, and you don't have to do. And if you just choose to do some more wrinkles in there, you can. It's your drawing, it's your hoodie, it's your, it's your thing. You can put all the wrinkles you want. If it just looks empty, just throw a couple of them in there. Just don't go too crazy. And then your jeans or your sweats, but since I did that, it's jeans now. Again, you have your wrinkles here, or your bunches here. And then down. Well, these are baggies now, but it's got this part because your sweats, I don't think some sweats don't have that. And then that. Now, if you're doing sweats, and I've got some leg things, and I'll show you in a minute with the leg. It just makes it baggier. So with this one, with the hood. All right, with the hoodie, we're gonna go with this one. And again, because you have so much material hanging, I'll do that first. Then there's the bottom here. Bring that out, and then put this right here. And the hoodie would usually be bigger. This is more of a sweatshirt. The hoodie would come way out here, because we wear that because we don't want stuff kind of touching our body, but just for the sake of drawing. You have this, and depends on the hood, but I'll take the hood off because he's got his powers. He wants people to see who he is. So again, with the flat teardrop, like that, upside down, which would be like this, or a word balloon. Then you have your part that comes down and around, and the rest you won't see. You'll see some wrinkles in here. And then of course your string, which I didn't put here. So we have this, and basically we're going to concentrate on the higher part, because you're not going to have a lot of too many wrinkles in this thing, because it's so big. You can have a couple, but I wouldn't as far as the hoodie is concerned. Just at the main points, but then of course it's going to be so far over the arm. It's going to bunch up here, and it's going to bunch up here, and then that would be about it. So if I ink this, it's going to come around and down, and it's going to hit this part, which is going to bunch up there. This part is going to bunch up there. And you can bring it all the way around if you choose. And then you have your part of your collar, which is right there. Coming down, this stuff is just going to hang down. If you want to put a little wrinkle there, you can. Same thing here. It's going to bunch up right here. It's going to bunch up right there and right there. And you can put extra something if you choose. Like that. And then your seam. And you really won't, unless you don't have a pocket, because your pocket will cover that up. And then maybe just a little for that. You can do this if you choose, but usually for a hoodie, you won't get that much. You won't get that much wrinkle. My brain is on so many things right now. And this is going to sit on the hood. You can, if you choose to put some wrinkles up under here. And again, all of this is on you, how much wrinkle you want to put, how much you don't want to put. And then you'll have this, and then you have some inside. Here's your face, here's your neck. This will be dark down here, going light as you go up. Or you can have it dark with your folds in light. That's on you how you do it. And then of course your string. And if this is too plain, again, you might want to just do the shape of where your ab curves around, but I wouldn't. But just the sake of adding some wrinkles, you can say you can do the W, or you can just do straight lines like that, just quicker doing the W, I guess. It all looks good. And then your hand here. So yeah, looking at the monitor, I think that's gonna be it for the hoodie.